All praises to Yahweh, Barsham Hawashai, Barsham Kodash. The honest to the elders and apostles in spirit and stone. Shalom to the elect pushing the sword in truth and in sincerity. To the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Barsham Hawashai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son. These so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID microchip is the MOTB. The serpent juice is the precursor to the MOTB. Yahweh Shai, whom dwelling and called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. So I'm going to go straight into this lesson. This is going to be a quick lesson concerning the state of the world right now, and I'm going to play even a video to show you that this is just not taking place in America. This is a global event, and this is a global collapse because inflation and other economic woes is going to affect every country around the world. So you know that it's going to affect living standards, isn't it? The cost of living is going to what? Rise. So let's listen concerning the jobs over there in America.
An economic bombshell basically just went off in the United States, and it shows just how bad the American economy is right now. So these are the annual benchmark revisions. So these are the non-farm payrolls, not to get into too much of the weeds, but basically the Bureau of Labor Statistics has now revised these numbers that the Biden administration told us about, and it turns out 818,000 jobs that the Biden-Harris White House claimed that they created do not exist. Wouldn't you love to know? To me, this is like criminal, because you're lying to the American people. You're telling the American people that you created nearly 1 million jobs and you're using it to curry political favor, and it's a total lie. You're lying to the American people.
Well, yes, especially because this is the one metric that they've been using to say that the economy is recovering. So they know inflation is wild, up in wild numbers. They know that the dollar has been devalued. They know that wages are down. They know all of these things, but they've been saying, yes, but jobs numbers are up. Turns out that's a lie. So this is the only thing they've got. And we see them repeating this over and over again. There was a hilarious video with Don Lemon over the weekend that was trending, where he was telling people, Trump voters who were saying, no, the economy was better under Trump. And he says, no, the numbers don't support that. This is all they had. Now there are no numbers that support that we are better off under the Biden-Harris administration.
So Don Lemon using basically fake numbers to go out and kind of provoke people on the boardwalk, which was hilarious. So yes, the Biden administration, Harris administration padded the numbers to make it look like they created nearly 1 million jobs that they didn't.
This is a huge revision down, 818,000 fewer jobs. This is basically the government's overstated the amount of people in the workforce. And even when you look under this, manufacturing was down 115,000 people. So this is a revision down, a significant revision down, the largest in 15 years that we've seen. And it basically says that the government has now overstated the amount of people who are working in this workforce. It shows weakness in the job markets over the past year that we didn't realize was there, but now we know is there. So again, 818,000 overall jobs down, manufacturing down 115,000 in this. And if you just look, construction down 45,000. So these numbers are huge numbers in revisions down.
So those are jobs that...
So let's dive straight into the nitty-gritty, So this is Ecclesiastes 12 verse 1. So remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And we are heading into the time in which You have to seek the Lord early and shall not find him. And you might ask, you have to seek the Lord early and not find him because your early is too late. Your early is when you're in distress and peril, as written in Proverbs 1 verse point supposed to be 25 going down. They say in distress and anguish, and I will seek the Lord, and I'll call upon the Lord, but what the Lord not gonna answer. Now is that time for draw nigh to your watching your side. Verse 2. While the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the star be not darkened, represent wisdom, nor the clouds return after the rain. Because wisdom are going to be lacking in those times. As it is written in Isaiah 33 verse 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And this is why a lot of people is not going to be sound in the times to come. This is why you have so much uproar of the people, yo. They have trusted in their government to look out for their better interests. We're going to learn today. Verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the keepers of the house represent the economy, so those who are look out on the state of the economy, isn't it? And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. The grinders represent what? The jobs, employment. So the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And this is what you're witnessing now. That's why the government over there in America had to come give you a false job report, yo. So going back to the clip.
In revisions down.
So those are jobs that existed at this time last year, and they don't exist this year. So at this time last year, 800,000 people more had jobs and they don't now.
We've already exposed how they lied about the crime rates, how the Biden administration lied about the crime rates, and they hid the real FBI crime data. And they worked in conjunction with the FBI to hide these numbers, by the way. We've exposed that. We had a former FBI data analyst on the show to explain exactly how the Biden administration is faking these numbers. So you don't believe anything that they're saying. And now they're caught lying about jobs data. What else are they lying about? I ask you, what do you think? Just so you understand what kind of a shell game this is, okay? Almost all of the jobs that were added were government jobs, and they were indirectly paid for by taxpayers. In other words, government-funded jobs, not real jobs, government jobs. Just take a look at this. As E.J. Antoni points out, more than half the jobs added in the last year were either in government or paid for by tax dollars. Like when the government gives a grant to a hospital, which then uses that money to hire a nurse, it's essentially an indirect hire by the government. Look at this: healthcare, government, leisure, hospitality, construction. So more than half of them were government jobs or paid for indirectly by taxpayers. Again, what a shell game. So 2 weeks ago, though, I have a question for Jerome Powell, because he's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming right now. Of course, they're having their big Fed kind of private meeting right now. And they're planning on slashing interest rates in September, right? So did Powell know these data points 2 weeks ago when he said this about the labor market, or is he lying? Watch.
Overall, a broad set of indicators suggests that conditions in the labor market have returned to about where they stood on the eve of the pandemic. Strong, but not overheated.
So Did he have that data? Was he lying to us?
Did he have bad data like the rest of us?
I mean, this is the largest revision of labor numbers in 15 years.
So that's one part of the problem. There is no job. And another part is those that have job, their wages are not increasing, but the food and energy costs, utilities, these prices are still going up. So this is Haggai 1 verse 5. You read, Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. And this is talking about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true descendants of Jacob. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. And this is the state of the world's economy, not just America's economy, the world's economy. Don't believe me? Alright, take a look in New Zealand. Let's see what's going on over there.
Far more. By Jacinda Ardern had handled the COVID outbreak well. She was globally praised, and this instilled confidence in the country's residents. But many seem to be done with it now. Nearly 1.5 lakh New Zealand residents have left the country in the last 1 year. This is the highest annual number ever. This because the country is facing some major economic issues.
New Zealand is technically into recession. Some countries, because to avoid the adverse attention of foreign investors, rating agencies, migrants, and so, they try and cook up the numbers. But factually speaking, as per my own economic analysis, New Zealand is in recession.
And that them just say America, they had to cook up the job numbers. Just look funny with the title of the video below. UK's 100-year economic decline.
Recession. It's in a technical recession right now. And one of the typical characteristics of a recession is that there is rampant unemployment. Companies start cutting jobs. The salaries do not grow for the people who already have jobs but who have not lost their jobs. Their salaries do not grow, and your cost of living rises significantly. If your cost of living in a country like New Zealand, which is supposed to be one of the developed part of the world, if the cost of living rises and your salaries are not rising in the same proportion, people in these kind of countries, they survive on mortgages. Your house is mortgaged, your car is mortgaged, everything is on loan, and you basically run your living on EMIs with little left for your other groceries and other expenses. So I think with the cost of living shooting up, people are not able to meet their monthly commitments, the EMI commitment, the mortgages, and so.
Unemployment is rising, interest rates are still high, though the central bank did cut them recently. Economic growth is lagging, and public sector jobs have also been cut. According to data released by New Zealand and accessed by Reuters, nearly 33% of those fleeing New Zealand are going to Australia, a place where they don't require a work visa. Net migration is still high, which means the number of those arriving is also high. But economists expect these numbers also to wane soon enough. This because the number of foreign nationals wanting to move to New Zealand is also falling due to the softer economy.
A lot of Indians who had gone there Indians and people from other nationalities also, Indians constitute almost 5% of the New Zealand population, most of them living in Auckland and Wellington. So they started running away because they had no choice. We should not forget that they had migrated to New Zealand with a dream, and the dream was to get good quality of living and make some money for themselves. We all know per capita income of New Zealand is about close to $50,000, which is far more than Indian per capita of about $2,000 plus. So they went there to make a dream, but then the dream becomes sour when you find that you're not able to save anything. Forget about saving. You're not able to survive. You can't meet your monthly expenses. Your basic expenses of groceries. So a lot of families that I know, they said that we are not able to buy our basic needs like groceries. Forget about meeting our mortgages. So I think that's what.
So just think about that in itself. You can buy simple necessities, You can buy things for your survival, food, groceries. What you believe are going to be the end of this, chaos and uproar. Because this is not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. And that's why in 2nd Ezra 15, it made me mention of sedition amongst men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, talking about their government officials, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And that's why you see a lot of people out here in Jamaica flee to these first world countries so they might look a better life, because the cost of living in Jamaica is so hard, and the dollar itself doesn't have any strength. But on the other hand, they don't even know that these countries that they are fleeing to is collapsing gradually also.
Making people flee because their savings are nothing. I mean, there's no point of living thousands of kilometers away from your homeland. And then they start looking for other pastures. They look for neighboring countries. They look for other developed countries around the world to see if they can do better over there.
Those migrating away say that Australia has a lot more opportunities, better work opportunities, economic prospects, better standard of living, and as one resident told Reuters, they just seem to have it together. This in contrast with New Zealand, where the economy is still struggling after the central bank hiked cash rates in its most aggressive tightening since 1999. Unemployment rose to 4.7% and inflation also remains high. Also, countries like Australia have been recruiting and offering relocation plans.
Will everyone prepare for the US dollar to go down even more? Yes, the Federal Reserve is meeting right now at their cushy resort in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. What are they talking about? Of course, they're talking about interest rates. They're talking about inflation. They're talking about the economy. They're talking about Bidenomics. They're talking about the election. So you are about to see some major shifts and some major verbiage come out of the Federal Reserve over the next few weeks at their big September meeting. We're likely to see interest rates being slashed. We already saw mortgage interest rates dropping to their lowest level in years, which is actually pretty stunning. But we are going to see the American interest rates declining and being slashed in the next couple of weeks. But I think it's important to note what's going on here. This is a rock and a hard place for the Federal Reserve that massively screwed up a number of years ago, keeping interest rates artificially low and getting us in this situation where we are now. It was all funny money. This is what happens when you print trillions of dollars and try to flood the economy with trillions of dollars, right? People were flush with all kinds of money. Massive amounts of savings due to stimulus checks. It was all fake money.
Anyway, as you'll do a follow up on this video. So with that, I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Yahweh Shalom.